Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So let's get started. I asked what this reading was going to be about. And what I heard is there's something you need to know. So there's something that's going on. You need to know about it. And you're going to know about it, boo. You're going to know about it. Okay, let me just get cards. Because Sundays are busy days. Very, 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 very busy days. They are, though. Sundays are very busy days. That time change is a mofo, y'all. It's a mofo. I wonder if you guys are all tired still. I don't know, but I kind of feel like I'm compatible with this time rather than the other time. If we could just leave the time like this, don't change it, I would really appreciate that. I would very much appreciate that. Okay. Let me just get a couple cards from here. Then we're ready. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready to fall in love with you. Okay. Let me just make sure my phone is, yep, it is silencio. And let's get started. Okay. Ha ha ha. Okay. Okay. Oh Lord. Lord, my Lord. Okay. Security in reverse. So there's something that's going on that's causing a sense of needing whatever this factor is. It is, I will call it a factor, right? There's this component, this factor that is needing to be allowed to come through, to come forward. And in order for this to come forward and be able to properly secure or facilitate the securing of your space, there's going to need to be a shift in ethos, mindset. So the way you see something is definitely gonna need to change, right? That's okay. That can happen. That can happen. You're gonna need to change the way you see something, and it's not that you're seeing things wrong. It's that you're viewing things from a lens that filters through trauma. um Michael says, I don't have time to be defiant this morning. Okay. Okay. So, whatever this is that's happening, it has to do with pulling in a masculine, allowing a masculine to come through, come forward, and that energy needs to take its rightful place. This could be a masculine aspect of yourself, because we do have both the feminine and the masculine within us. So it could be that you are pushing away your masculine aspects. Um, I think maybe for some of us, this is indicative of the ways in which you refuse to stick up for yourself. You refuse to speak up when there is something unjust, unfair being done to you. You're going to need to speak up. You're going to need to stand up for yourself and allow yourself to really just get to a space where um, you begin to understand the gravity of you, that you are, in fact, important. This is something that needs to be allowed. I don't know if what's happening. Oh, okay. So, huh. Okay. Okay. So let's see what's happening here. My comments are not working. Hmm. Okay, just take a moment, take a deep breath in, slow exhale out, and be right back. Hi. So let's see if the comments are working now. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work. That's okay. That's going to keep me focused. Okay, now it's working. Ooh wee. Ooh wee. So, here goes. Um this masculine aspect, it's really pushing its way forward. Um I don't know, is it something that you rejected? Nervous laughter. Is this something or someone that you rejected at some point where you pushed them away? Maybe there were things that were going on that caused you to feel like this is misaligned. This is not something that I want to participate in. And you pushed it away. And now it's this thing of it's needing to be allowed back. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think for some of us, there is some etheric level work that's needing to be done, like spiritual work, and it's requiring all of the components are that are necessary for specific processes to be able to continue. I'm being told to share that you need to clear away whatever toxic mindset, whatever toxic view you have about this specific subject, about maybe this specific person. Um, I think maybe the message is that for some of us, we've been so hurt, and the whole situation has been so offensive that you're kind of in a space of avoidance at this point. And I can't say that I blame you. There are certain things and certain people that are just so. There's a lot of things I'd like to say that I'm told do not say that. Okay, so I mean, do you just want to do the reading yourself? It's the Lord's day today. If you could just please get out of my ear so that I could do this reading properly, Michaela. Okay, so remembrance. It's time for you to remember exactly what it is you're here to do, the things you're here to experience. And for many of us, we've forgotten what that is. And our Our lack of remembrance is causing us to experience elevations in fear. Be fearless in reverse. This is telling me that you're very skittish. You're very, very nervous about how all of this is going to play out. I think for some of you, you know exactly who this is or what this is. And it's something that you have avoided, something that you probably don't want to deal with for one reason or another. Why don't you want to deal with it? First and foremost, why don't you want to deal with it? What's going on here? Is it because this represents um, something that you can't control? Are you having struggles with control? You wanting to control things, you wanting to control situations, um, and this, you know that this is something that you can't control. It's like a wild card. Or is this someone viewing you as a wild card? Like they don't know how to approach you. They don't know how to allow for healing to occur because you're such a wild card. They don't know. They can't guarantee that you will not um I guess wild out on them. I don't know, maybe you're very angry about something. And if that's the case, then maybe the most appropriate way to approach um is to just apologize. To apologize. I never really understood why it was so hard for people to apologize for things. Like if I did something wrong and I'm aware that I did something wrong, or I hurt your feelings and I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings, I was just going through something and you happen to unfortunately be the recipient of whatever I was processing, I will apologize. Apologies can go a very long way in helping to heal certain things, right? But here's the thing, whoever has already apologized cannot consistently be the one that's apologizing, consistently be the one that is reaching out and trying to fix something that another person does not want to fix. So there's something you need to know. Is this you? Are you the one that doesn't want to fix things? Or are you the one that continues to apologize and is unable or unwilling to move forward because this is weighing heavily on you? Like I said, if the other person doesn't want to fix things, if they don't want to meet you at some center point where each person can take accountability for the ways in which their behaviors, their actions led to the downfall of whatever fell apart, I don't know what to say. This isn't even beating a dead horse. This is beating a dead horse that's been buried. It's just bones at this point. um, there's a lack of belief that this is something that can be fixed. If you don't believe it can be fixed, then it will not be fixed. Regardless of who's the one that believes it cannot be fixed, it will not be fixed. And it's really just time to move on and leave this subject matter alone, leave this individual alone. But the sense is that I don't know, maybe this is someone you have some type of soul tie to, soul connection to, because it doesn't seem like this is going to be left alone. Everything is upside down. Okay. Okay. Everything in this reading is upside down. Worlds within worlds in reverse. What's this telling us? That whatever holding tank you have been placed in or they have been placed in, that's about to be emptied. Everything is about to be laid out on the table. I don't know what's going to happen from that. I mean, I could have sworn things were supposed to have been laid out on the table a while ago, right? So that means maybe you laid things out on the table, but this other individual didn't. So what's there to do? What's there to do? I don't know. They're not able to move forward. They're not able to move forward. You're not able to move forward until they move forward. So it's kind of like a holding tank that you guys are sitting in. It's almost like it's almost like this thing of not being able to see or know what's happening. Oh, that's crazy. That's mad crazy. Um so this is just nutty because again, my comments are not coming through on my um on my end. Okay. So, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and do this. Okay. All right. Um, if they're stuck and you're stuck, what ends up happening is neither of you are allowed to move forward because neither of you are willing to walk your truth. Right. So let's look at this in terms of you rejecting your masculine aspects. Um, you reject your masculine aspects, then what will happen? Well, you're going to end up being stuck in a space where you are not saying what needs to be said. You are not initiating or concluding conversations that are needing to be had. Um, you get caught up in so much discombobulated ego, and then it seems like everything sucks. There's no growth. There's stagnation. There's just unnecessary struggle. And then, of course, there's a bitterness that eventually takes hold. Gratitude in reverse. There's a bitterness that will take hold, and maybe you already are entering into a space of bitterness. Maybe that's what it is. You're entering into a space of bitterness, and if you are, you definitely need to take a time out. You need to take a time out to assess what you're feeling and why. Like, what is it that's happening? Okay. I see what this is. Jesus loves me. Oh, yes, he does. Jesus loves me. Oh, yes, he does. So, what's going on here is that you are bringing this to you. You are attracting to you the very things, circumstance, struggles, whatever it is that is necessary for you to learn and grow in the way that you need to learn and grow. You're feeling very uninspired right now. And that probably is because you're factoring in the emotions of disappointment, the emotions of frustration. Maybe one of you is eager to move forward, with your growth and your healing, and the other one is just really marinating in that negative space, that negative feeling, negative perception of how everything has happened. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I mean, I almost feel as though I've said everything that's possible to say to help a person grasp the process that they're in. And maybe there's nothing that's left to say. Maybe it's just a matter of people are either going to go into their space of healing or they're not. They're either going to go and embrace this healing process or they are not. And if they're not, and it's not you that's unwilling to embrace that space of healing, I don't know what you're going to do. You can't convince someone to heal if they don't want to heal. I have had a handful of people in my life where I have gone out of my way to offer assistance, to offer my abilities free of charge, completely free of charge, where I'm like, okay, this is just this is a situation. This is what I can do to help. Let me know if you want me to help. I've had a handful of people who have just never taken up the offer. And it's like, why? Well, they don't want the help. And then it took me a few years to realize, oh, it's not that they don't want the help. It's that they recognize the help leads to actual healing and they don't want to heal. Some people are focused and content on punishing themselves for the rest of their lives. I'm not there. I'm not in that space. And I hope that everyone in our community refuses to be in that space as well, where um, like all there is for you to punish yourself, to stay in a space where you're going to continue to hurt. For what? Why? What is that going to do? My love is not the type of love that will unnecessarily sit with you for prolonged periods, an undetermined amount of time in a space where we are both hurting so that you won't hurt by yourself. Uh-uh. Now I can sit with you as you catch your breath before we move forward together, but I will not sit there unnecessarily for an undetermined length of time just so you don't suffer by yourself. That's not the kind of love that I offer. The kind of love that I offer is very heavily focused on helping you to stay focused on that forward movement, on flowing with your journey and recognizing how powerful you are, not coddling your weakness, this perceived weakness. That is not love. That is enablement. And maybe that's what we need to know today. Maybe that's what we need to know today. that we need to assess. Is our behavior enabling? I think maybe this reading is for you, Marlene. I think maybe this reading is for you, Marlene. Have you been enabling? Are you an enabler? Because I kind of feel like you are. I kind of feel like you are. That you've been trying to drag me into a space of enabling toxic cycles. I'm good off that. I'm absolutely good off that. I will not willingly participate in that. No, no. Right now, there are shifts and changes that are occurring on a subatomic level that's being translated into the collective whole. All of us are being given the opportunity to completely shift the trajectory of our life. And if you're going to waste your time on this enablement BS, you're going to lose your opportunity to build the life you've dreamt of. To give that up does not prove that you love someone. To give up everything that was destined for you is not to show love. That clearly illustrates the degree of toxicity and distortion that still exists within you. It's just, yeah, yeah. I think to do that is to slowly die, to choose a very slow and painful demise. And soul is telling you at this point that you need to come to life again. You need to allow the sweetness to return into your life, with or without whatever you perceive to be necessary. Because sometimes what we think is necessary is actually just a preference, like what we would prefer to happen, right? I think you need to make a decision of, are you going to choose your journey, your potential, your destined path? Or are you going to use whatever it is that's happening? Because all of you know, if this message applies to you, all of you know exactly what circumstance I'm talking about. I don't know what circumstance, but you do. Are you going to choose to remain in the same holding pattern? Or are you going to choose to move forward? Because I think for some of us, we don't have the option of choosing to stay in the same holding pattern. And if you choose to stay in that same holding pattern, soul is going to come down hard on you, not as a punishment, but to break down the parts of you that are resisting whatever it is that needs to be allowed. Right? It's stuff that needs to be allowed. And I'm going to be honest, because really that's all I'm capable of being. Um, this whole thing is just, it's so unnecessary. It is so unnecessary. Everything that you have suffered through was chosen by you. It's not about blame. It's about recognizing how powerful you are. Your selection of options is what determines the way you experience what you are experiencing. You are in full control, including the decision to give your power away to someone else so that they can decide, so that you don't have to take accountability for what you will be forced to live through. Oh, the duo that went viral. I don't know. I don't know. What is already with you? This potential is already with you, but it seems as though there's a refusal, a hesitation of some kind to some degree to tap into this potential. Because why? I don't know. Possibly because I don't know. Would it require convergence? Possibly. Possibly. So maybe setting the intention. If you're well on the way to healing, and not everyone in our community is, that's okay. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. That's okay. If you're the one that's well on your way to healing, then maybe what you need to do is set the intention that all parties who must be involved in your journey will also enter into a space of healing. So there can be alignment and a continuation of whatever soul is requesting to be allowed. And maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe that's the way in which we begin our healing process. You know, maybe that's the most kind and loving thing that you can do. Just speak on a higher self level of, hey, can we just like have this thing move forward already? Can we manage to find a way to get whatever work that needs to be done? Because you have a lot of say. You honestly do. You have a lot of say. But if you're not going to use that say in what happens to your part of the journey, um, then you kind of just get dragged along by the other person, right? And I'm not even talking about a romantic anything. Like when the circumstance is this way, whatever this is from this reading, there is no way a romance could ever be born of that. There is no way a viable romantic connection can last long term with this type of toxicity, this type of distortion, entitlement. Like, no, hell no. And maybe that's something just flat out demonic, trying to convince people that this is your opportunity to heal them. You cannot heal someone who does not give you consent. You cannot. You will not. That is not within the realm of possibility. That is not love. I tell you, most of you are familiar with a very intense journey that I was on a few years back. Um, my brother, my oldest brother, he had suddenly developed end stage heart failure. Like he needed a heart transplant. He was dying. It was bad. He was dying. They gave him 3 days to live. It was that bad. And at the very beginning of it, so he had a heart attack. He had a stroke. He was in the hospital for like a month and a half or something. And while he was in the hospital, I was talking to him pretty much every day. And at one point, like he's kind of aware what I do, but not really aware what I do. And at one point, I was like offering, I'm going to dissolve that clot in your heart. He had a clot, a blood clot the size of a quarter in his left ventricle. If that gets ejected from the ventricle, there's no way he's surviving that. No way at all. So I told him, okay, you have to be on the phone with me. Like you have to be texting me and I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. But you got to tell me if you feel anything, you got to be responsive. And so I begin, I'm simply priming his field to receive my energy. And he stops responding. At first, he was responding, and then he stopped responding. So I stopped working on him. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Didn't respond. Are you okay? Didn't respond. After about 30, 40 minutes, I'm like, well, maybe he just fell asleep. After about 30, 40 minutes, he texts me, he just had another stroke. And I was like, oh my God, it was a mini stroke. And I said, I can't work on you. The whole time I was priming him, I was being told, no, that is not your place. No, you are not to continue. I didn't want to listen. What I was doing was not out of love. It was out of desperation. It was selfish. It was selfish. It was rooted in my need, not his. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We just lost our mom. I just lost my favorite aunt. Mm-hmm. So I did that. I didn't even get a chance to start working on him. I was still just priming his field. I was even telling him I have to do this extra slow and be extra careful because I don't want any fragments to get ejected from your heart. Yeah. I wasn't allowed to work on him. It wasn't until after he had a massive breakthrough with his perception of his life. Months later, and I was detached from the outcome where it's like, you know what, this is his journey. I will honor however this plays out. I will not interfere. If I'm asked to help by his soul, I will help. Whatever I'm allowed to do is all I will do. I will not interfere. It took nearly a year of being in the same holding pattern, coming very, very close to death. Like when I say very close to death, he should not be alive right now. He shouldn't be alive right now. Yet he is. And not only is he alive, when I waited until his soul came to me and said, hey, it's time now. You know what happened? Messianic level of cardiac regeneration. Do you know what that means? All the damage, irreversible damage to his heart, it suddenly disappeared. He is no longer categorized as a congestive heart failure patient. He no longer has an enlarged left ventricle. That does not happen according to allopathic medicine. That does not happen. It does when it's fueled by love, love for self, and a love that supports that. You cannot heal someone who is not ready or willing to be healed. You are going to further compound the injury that already exists. When you try and force someone into a space of healing and they are not ready, what you are communicating is, I see you as broken and I don't like it. It's unacceptable. And so we need to fix that. That is what you are communicating. That you are not enough as you are right now. I don't like it and I need to fix it because I'm better than you. I'm stronger than you. And you don't know as much about yourself as I know about you. So I'm going to take control here and I'm going to do things whether or not you want me to. Love is not something that is attached to an outcome. It is something that is felt between two souls, a care, concern, and compassion that will always respect whatever the outcome that's been chosen. You don't always get a say in someone's outcome. And I think what needs to happen now is you just need to respect whatever process whoever this person is for you is in. You just need to accept that. It's not giving up on someone to accept and honor their decision to remain in a space of toxic pain. That is their choice. That is their choice, right? That is their choice. And a lot of the things that we do out of a space of love, and we think we're loving someone, we think we're doing what is right because this, because that. Is it? Is it? You protecting them from themselves? I had to learn this lesson the hard way. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had to learn this lesson the hard way because it required me having a difficult conversation with my sibling while he was in the hospital, where he was really mad. He was really upset. And he absolutely put me in my place. It's not my life to control. It is not my place to dictate what he should eat. That if he wants to have a hamburger and die from the hamburger, that is his choice. And I heard every single word he said. And I finally understood. I'm not supporting him. I'm running out of a space of fear. And I don't have the authority to try and force him to be alive longer than what he chooses. And we spoke for hours that night. Hours. And because he was heard and he was validated without me saying, no, but you don't understand. You don't understand the seriousness. How can he not understand the seriousness? He has all these tubes coming out of his body. He's being kept alive by a bag of IV fluids that's attached to him 24 hours a day. He can't do anything by himself. You can't even leave him alone. How does he not know what he's going through? The seriousness of it. He absolutely knew. And just because he framed it in the way that was the most powerful for him, he is not dying. He's just healing slowly. The stubbornness of it is amazing. Is amazing. Because he wasn't dying. He was just very slowly healing. After that, like 4 or 5 hour long conversation we had, the very next morning, he had a procedure done. They checked his heart again to see if the clot was there. Just a few days ago, the clot was still there. And when he was finally truly heard and validated, it was a matter of like 3-4 hours between the end of our conversation and when they took him to go check if they could do a procedure. The clot was gone, completely gone. And they were able to do the cardioversion. He went from 7% function of his heart, and it jumped to about 40% instantly. He was in AFib the entire time for almost a year. Irregular heartbeat. It went right back to normal. He no longer needed a life-saving surgery to keep him alive, hopefully long enough to get a heart transplant. That's how bad it was. That's how bad it was. They were preparing him for an LVAD surgery. It's where they irreparably wreck your heart to bypass the broken part in hopes that you stay alive long enough for a heart transplant. he didn't get that done because all he needed was to be validated, to be heard, and his needs honored. How does one approach conversation so they can understand what is happening? Who says they cannot understand? Who says they cannot understand? When it is happening to you, I know you understand what's happening. You might not have the education, the fancy terms, or the depth of medical knowledge, psychological awareness. I don't know. But you know something is happening to you. Let us not claim that it is love when we diminish another person's understanding of themselves and their own journey. That is not love. After that conversation with my brother, and let me tell you, he cussed my ass out. He was screaming on the phone. And I was like, shit. He right though. He's right though. He's right. I am taking away his sovereign right to choose how he will live, however long he has left to live. That's fucked up. He's not a pet. And he used to joke around and he used to be like, he's my therapy. Helping him is my therapy. It's kind of true. For a period, I was using it as my own personal therapy, helping me to process other things that happen in my life, helping me to stay busy enough that I could actively avoid the processing of other things. We have to take a good hard look at why we do the things we do. It's not always because we love someone. It's not always because we're helping. Sometimes we're making it worse. Sometimes we just need to let things unfold as they unfold. And that can be the most loving thing. I let things unfold as they unfolded. He wanted whatever he wanted, go ahead. Hey, but don't, he knew not to be expecting any sympathy from me. Like, oh, you feel so sick, like you can't breathe. Well, you know you're holding water. You ate shit. You ate shit you shouldn't eat. And he's like, yeah, I know. I'm like, okay, well, was it worth it? No. Okay. I mean, I'm not experiencing it. You are. It is what it is. And then one day his higher self came to me and was like, it's time. Time for what? Time to fix what's wrong. And I let him know, hey, it's time for me to work on you. I'm going to fix what's wrong. And so I did. Because it was at that point that my actions were rooted in nothing but love, honoring the request from his own soul, right? Going beyond normal in reverse. I think for some of us, we don't quite grasp that we are doing far too much, that we are in a space of thinking that, you know, our interference with another person's journey is just absolutely crucial. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. When your involvement is crucial, it's something that will not be questioned. It's something that will just unfold. It will happen. And before you know what happened, it will have happened. And you will look back and like, damn, God, that was crazy. Oh, but we did it. We did it. That was crazy. Wow. 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 Did that really happen? Yeah. I think we as humans far too often we hyper intellectualize our simple desire to interfere. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of a thing of projection, right? Like we are projecting onto others our lack of understanding of our own journey. And because we have no emotional investment in their journey, um, we're not as emotionally invested in their journey as we are in ours, the outcome of ours. We're able to see something in a different way than first person perspective. And that does not mean we know exactly what it is that's happening. As a mother of an alcoholic son, I feel like I have to keep trying to help him. I can't stop trying. A mother and a child have an unspoken agreement. It's not for me to tell you what that agreement is or is not. Mary Beth, if you feel that that is something you are obligated to do, I would listen to my heart. I would listen to my heart. That is a very difficult path that the two of you are on. Yeah. I can't even begin to pretend to know or understand what that must be like as a mother myself, a mother to nothing but sons. I have no idea what that is like. And all I can say is that mothers and their children, fathers and their children, they have an unspoken agreement that was agreed to before this life began. So you follow your heart in regards to what you feel is best for you and your son. And yeah, maybe it's something that will end in a happy way, or maybe it's something that will have an outcome that none of us want to think of, none of us want to consider as a potentiality. No matter what, I hope you have all the support, the encouragement, and the love that you need to continue doing whatever you feel is necessary for you and your son. That's hard. That's very, very hard. I yeah. I have no place to tell you what you should and shouldn't do, or different potentialities. See, that's the thing. It's so easy for people who don't go through that circumstance, who've never been through that circumstance, to sit in a space of perceived clarity, like this is what you need to do. We don't know what you need to do. We just don't. It is very, very difficult. Love is not an easy thing. It's not meant to be. Love is not an unnecessarily hard thing. It's not meant to be. Love is something that will give you the courage to enter into spaces and lessons that are necessary for you to learn what needs to be learned. Sometimes that means love will cause you to hold on and be present and try and try and try. And other times, love will be the very thing that will help you to understand it is not my place to do any more than I have already done. And my presence does not help, it hinders, it amplifies, and it unintentionally harms. I think everyone should pause and take the time to really assess, like, what is it that I'm doing? Why am I doing this? Is it love or is it fear of what happens when you let go? Is it this perceived potential for guilt to be born out of an outcome that you think you could have controlled? I don't know. I don't know. Only you know the answer to that. Only you know, because only you have lived through the things that you've lived through and have the desires that you have for an outcome that only you will have to live your entire life with. I think the most kind and loving thing we can do for ourselves during periods of hardship, periods where we don't know what to do, we don't know what the answer um, is to hold a space of kindness and grace for ourselves, protect ourselves from developing unnecessary guilt and an attachment to an outcome that we cannot control. Everything will happen exactly as it's meant to happen, whether that is a good experience or a bad experience. I don't know. And I don't think I'm meant to know. I think that is left as an open ended question for you to explore between the self and the soul. Spirals of manifestation in reverse. This is telling me that for many of us, we are not actively taking our proper place in a space of choosing what we manifest. And just to kind of touch on this topic, because I don't know who will hear this podcast or see this live stream. If, as a parent, you feel the only loving thing you can do is to let go, that doesn't make you any less of a parent. It doesn't make you worse or horrible in comparison to a parent that refuses to let go. All of us have different journeys with our children. And I just want to take a moment to validate everyone's journey, right? Everyone's journey. Allow your heart to speak to you and let you know what it is that you need to do. And then actually listen and apply the information, the guidance that you're being given, and simply remain open to however, whatever this is meant to unfold. No one knows what you are going through. No one gets a say in how you feel and what you decide. But I do ask that you honor whatever your soul is asking you to honor. I do ask that you don't allow yourself this twisted pleasure of punishing yourself. You don't need to be punished. None of us do. What you need is to learn and grow from whatever it is you're experiencing and to allow yourself to heal from the pain that is intrinsically part of very profound life learning opportunities. I hope that this very intense reading, there's a heaviness to it. I hope that it gives you whatever comfort and awareness of expansion of your personal power that you need. When things get heavy, always remind yourself, this is my opportunity to become stronger. You are not being knocked down on your butt. You are being encouraged to squat that weight and increase your strength, build your stamina, and become better prepared for whatever purpose you've always been destined to fulfill. Life is not always easy. It is not meant to be. Nor does life always have to be hard. It was not intended to be. Life is exactly what it is that we make it out to be. So make it something amazing. Make it something that counts for as much as it possibly can count for. Every time you feel pain, every time you get confused, seek the knowledge and the awareness that will help you to overcome the circumstance you are living through. And in that, allow yourself to recognize the increase in power and capacity you just achieved. So, guys, what a heavy reading. We have an entire community of strong people capable of carrying the weight that our shoulders were designed to carry, as well as the weight of our community needing someone to lean on. We got each other, guys. You're not in this journey alone. I promise you, whatever you're going through, there are many people in this world who know exactly what that feels like. You are not alone and you are not being punished, but you must keep going. You have to keep moving forward. You have to keep flowing. Why? Because you deserve to know the you that has the capacity to overcome the now. You deserve that. And you will have that. Guys, give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and join me when I'm live. I will be coming on later today at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the Past Life Tea Party. If you want some energetic work done, a reading, a bio scan, whatever it is, go check it out. Click on that QR code or the link in the comment. If you are ready to halt all of the craziness, that crazy access that people who have dark intentions towards you have had, check out my Black Magic Revocation Workshop. It's a 4-hour workshop that's going to be had this coming Saturday. I'm going to be teaching all of the participants how to negate the effects of black magic on your life and your journey. There's a lot of very discombobulated people in this world at this point who unfortunately have gotten access to information on magical practices. However, they did not learn about ethics, they did not learn about integrity. And so, this is your opportunity to negate their access to you. I'm not teaching witchcraft in this workshop, I'm teaching the techniques from my energetic system to negate the effects of other people's malignant intentions. Last night I was live on TikTok and one of my viewers, they had something similar happening to them, and I worked on them. I think like a couple weeks ago, a week, 2 weeks, something like that. They came on the live stream last night and they were sharing that since I worked on them, simply using my techniques, they've seen dark things running away from their home, no longer able to enter, and in fact, being so averse that they're running away from her property. The techniques I'm teaching in this workshop are very potent. They come from an energetic system that transcends the existence of humans. It's a very powerful system. And I'll be teaching that this Saturday. If you're interested, go check out the QR code or the link in the comments. And I already mentioned later today, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you have not already found me across all social media, please go find me. Find me, and I'm Emmy Evolving across the board. Follow me everywhere, especially on TikTok. TikTok is going to be the home base for more of my energetic work, and YouTube will remain the home base for me just speaking and helping our community empower itself as individuals and as a collective whole. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's reading. I'll see you again very, very